The Beginner's Guide. Please make sure your audio is on. Check. Controls. AWS. Check, check.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today
Oh, we should
I'm
look that
going
up
to
later.
tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Okay.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Oh, we
It's a
can
level
move.
for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And
Cool.
mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town,
What
he
is
then
that?
scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what
Okay.
was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as
One
games, but
random.
that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to
That's a
see
good
past
point,
the games
yeah.
themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him,
Oh, you
to
can
maybe
jump.
encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at DAVEYWREDEN.
Do you think his
at
Gmail is still
gmail.com.
active?
Okay, that's about it
Oh.
for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Whoa. Oh. Warning, whisper machine status active. Evacuate immediately. Oh! Oh! I have a gun! Ah! What do I do?
This game is called Escape from Whisper.
Okay.
And it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Oh. Oh. What is this? This is like Star Wars. Oh, I can shoot. Oh my gosh. What do I shoot at? Oh no.
Security level breach.
What do I?
Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Oh gosh.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere. But then clearly there are no
I'm out of
enemies anywhere.
bullets.
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
What do I do? Oh, hey, that door opened. Okay. Whoa, look
I
at the
love how you can
stars.
see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, that's super cool. Hmm. Well,
Apparently,
Oh,
this
where do I
space
go?
station has a labyrinth on it.
oh no.
Sure, I don't know.
I didn't do enough mazes on the Olive Garden Kids menu for this.
In the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you past it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Wait, I wasn't. I didn't pay attention. What do I have to turn off? Oh.
You there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Oh, I have
It's so
become.
much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it?
I had to sacrifice myself? What? I didn't sign up for this. Oh, if I do it. Wait, I don't do it. I'm stuck here forever. If I do. Oh! They have locked me in there. Ron, no! No!
This is not
He's
a
going to
branching
sacrifice
point. Unfortunately,
himself.
the only option is to step into the beam.
Okay, well.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh. I've respawned. Oh, look, and this door didn't close this time. I'm not dying today. Oh, sweet. Oh, this is cool. It's Wally. No, you can see
beam
the whole
causes you to
level.
start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Oh,
or this
yeah.
floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Wow. That was trippy. Oh my gosh. Oh, the past was behind her. Whose past? What is she trying to forget? Why can't I move? Oh.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh. Oh, well that's... Oh. One time in the 3rd grade, I told myself, I said, I will never walk forwards ever again. And that lasted maybe 10 minutes after I fell backwards on the playground and hit my head on, what do you call it? Like the swing, like the bar of the swingings? Yeah. So, flashbacks to that. Wow, okay. Like, oh.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Keep changing? Keep changing. Why does the future keep changing? Oh. Interesting. When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Oh. Let's go. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Are we still? No. This is creepy. No. This is so scary. I don't remember this part of Castle Malloy. You are now entering. What am I entering?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Whoa, that's a
I wish
long
I'd known at the time that
staircase.
he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it.
No.
It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Bling, bong, bong, bong. Oh,
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
so I press enter? Ah. Oh, stand on an X, staring at a bear. What? Whoa. Whoa. Oh, whoa. Yeah. A series of lavish manuals come with the game. Give you. What? You start in a small
A
room.
room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Oh, okay.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Oh my gosh. You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs strategically to make the most money before you die? It's a literal body shop. Okay. Where are we? This is not the Hilton. This is not the Marriott. What is? This is a parking garage. I'm sure of it.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Hmm.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
What do I do? I have to get that switch down? Can I jump on it? What? Oh. Ooh. Ooh, it's dark in here. Hey Siri, Lumos, turn the light on, somebody. Oh, is there another switch on this side, maybe? Oh, man. Yeah, how do we get this one open? A part of me wonders if maybe we should, like, close it and then make a run for it. Ah, it's what we do.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Coconuts. Oh, that actually looks like the thing off SpongeBob. You guys know that thing on SpongeBob that's like, he boy, roy boy. Doodle Bob. Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Whoa. Stop it. It's like oh my gosh. You guys remember that thing on the PC where if you
How
didn't
about
touch
that?
it,
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
it would be all those colorful
I
pipes
actually
that would
find
go on
it
the
funny
screen?
that this game comes after the Stairs game, since
That's
they
what this
essentially
looks like.
convey the opposite idea. So in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior, and
Whoa.
then in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
That's really cool.
Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
Mm.
So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're back. You are now exiting.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Wow. Okay. So everything's all interconnected. The Great and Lovely Descent. Okay. Ooh, trippy.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
That's actually pretty
Like
cool.
all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
This is trippy.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh no! Oh goodness, did your stomach just drop? Oh. That was terrifying. Whew. Wait, where's the stairs? Oh, is this it? Okay. Yeah, shortcut. Whoa, it's never ending. Ugh. Oh, is this like a prison? Oh. Ooh. Whoa. This is my cell?
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Okay. Ah, back to the Marriott.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
See, I don't like heights when it's the edge of something. Oh, look. Listen, listen, listen. You there. Did you come up from above?
Here, Coda begins using a kind
What
of
was up
dialogue
there?
system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was these floating colored blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. Oh, one says speak. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. Trust me, you don't want to go over there? Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Oh, door is open now. Oh, it's them again. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. Why would I sit in the black space? Oh, it's plenty peaceful. It may not seem that way at first, but you'll come to think so in time. Eventually.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level. It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Nice. Are you feeling trippy yet? Is it feeling trippy to you? Bruh, 2009. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this.
How do you
but
beat this game?
This game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
No
This
point
was
to this.
actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in
Whoa,
Sacramento,
that's
where
cool.
I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Hello.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient.
Hey.
And I cooled off eventually. Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Oh, okay.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Wait, is that what? I didn't know that. Can we talk about the fact that this guy's name is Coda, which in music brings something to an end, but this game is called The Beginner's Guide? It feels significant. Absolutely. It's not very crowded here. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is that painting? This is a note? Don't listen to the other guy. Big giant painting. Painting, what does it mean? Whoever made this has issues. Who are all of you? We will all die someday? Stop pretending you are other people.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. He understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together, to grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Is that a big giant typewriter? Oh, it's a bunch of typewriters! Are you there? Please say something. It could be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak! Speak!
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. Oh. I know. I definitely need to do that. Are we at the bottom
See,
of
like,
the well?
This is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Oh, now the furniture's all gone. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? I don't know. TV? Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. I think we should light up the room a bit. Yes. And a table. You need a table. I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything.
It's like
kinda just
IKEA!
weird for weirdness'
Oh
sake.
my gosh, there's furniture everywhere and you get lost. And you're just endlessly walking around about how do I get out of
He
IKEA?
throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side of the sofa, move it a little. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to start to be taken back to your prison. It's like a big giant showroom.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
What?
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Ooh. Hey guys, I'm scared. But look, it's another lamppost though. It's a destination. With a window? A photo booth? Oh, it's a... Oh, no. Come on now. Not a photo booth. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation.
Yep, I was in the reverse prison.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But
What's
the
it like
irony
to
is that
escape?
even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Really, how long has it been since you got out? Only a few minutes, but somehow it's already fuzzy, kind of like it never happened. But this is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget it? You don't ever forget it, you just stop identifying with it. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? To get out, you need to tell me how you feel right now. What? That will free me? How does that work? Just tell me how you feel. Okay, I feel afraid that nothing will ever change. Go on. Ah.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Ugh, that was really good.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Whoa. Look, there's already a pathway of
To
footprints.
me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Oh, look, it's a person. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself. And right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Are we cleaning
You'll
this
notice
whole
that
place?
the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
That's the story, little one. Oh, don't you worry now. We'll be through this mess in no time. I promise you'll wish there was more. Why don't I finish up here? In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? All the little details matter. It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. This line of work, you let go of those judgments pretty fast. May not be your apartment, but something in your life needs straightening up. If you think you've got nothing that needs cleaning, be careful, because that means it's everything. Any rate, my place is just to see a bit of peace brought here. Speaking of which, the pillows on this couch are a wreck. Would you come out and straighten them up? Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there? I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best as you can? No need to be perfect, we're all just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor in the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Do these chores ever end? Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or not.
I really like this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier, when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying it. But there's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. I love the message of that your house is almost kind of like your soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. And it's a constant thing too, you know? You're constantly having to check each room of yourself and straighten things up, and yeah, I like that. Oh goodness, those pillows over on the couch are a real
I'm glad
mess.
he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question. Do you enjoy this?
Of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Floating tree. That one was so good. I love that one.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Oh no. Oh. Throwback to university days. I don't miss them. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy. It's so easy.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Whoa.
And you play as the teacher.
Oh.
Suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Ah. Oh, wow. This is the key. How do I achieve it? Achieve it with no effort. Well, let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? Ha 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 ha, just kidding. What if I'm not a good teacher? Everyone run! Run!
I fell pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Whoa, it's a big giant stage. Oh. All right, the performance is beginning. Please, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Oh. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on. Say something to her. Hello? Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now, talk to her again. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Whoa. Where do we go? I guess we just keep moving forward. Okay, yes. Now this is working.
The game ends with
this is what it's
eerie
like.
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
I really liked the idea behind that one. What's going on? Captain, what can we do? I can't see anything. And then my vision suddenly went black. There was this giant door there. Please, someone talk to me. Whoa. Oh. What do we have to do? Do we have to save this person?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh, can I go out this door? Ooh. Ah, okay. I know what to do now. You just go to this side. Maybe we'll get out on the top. No, that one isn't either. So I think these are all blind, but the person upstairs says the truth. So maybe we have to talk to them. Oh, because that's the lamppost, yeah. The only way to stop speaking that someone. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Wow, we're already in December 2010. Where am I? Whoa. Hello? Is anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I have nothing left to give to my work. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it's at. It isn't far. You have to take me to it. I can do
If the
that, but there's a
last game
problem.
featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet. And so He didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Huh, that
You
was so
can't
simple.
Talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Sure, making games is easy. Ah, that feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. It is easy. It never stops being easy. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
It's an actual person.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Well, we're in May 2011. Guard. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine that's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about this machine. It calls itself Coda. Whoa. Oh, look, it's the press. Please give us answers. Do you know where the poisonous games are? Please give us answers. What can you tell us? Where's the machine now? Wow, that right there is a really cool visual.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. You stopped feeding us. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. No? Nothing? Alright then, I will speak to them for you. Oh my gosh. My friends, I have a troubling revelation. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Back with the gun.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Wow, so it's going back through all of his creations.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Oh, it's the machine. Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
No.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable.
Oh,
The game
jeez.
goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Ah. Yes, I know, the music is stressing me too.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
But that's the point though,
I'll
right?
put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Everything's supposed to be kind of like impossible? No. Oh, here we go.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow.
No, everything's got a deep
I feel
meaning.
like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Oh, is this the top?
Where
This is
did
the
I
top.
screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
I need to ask you not to speak to me
It's
anymore.
because of what I did.
What did you do?
Poisoned it for you.
What? Okay, whoa. That was super unexpected.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... It felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my game? Stop adding lampposts to them? Would you
And then
simply
you
let
stopped.
them be what they
And
are?
I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all.
I desperately need
Nothing.
something and I cannot give it to
Less
you. I
than
don't have it.
nothing. What does that mean?
Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Oh. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
When you finally see what I'm talking about. Don't say anything. Oh, the switch is not
That's
there.
why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into
the
your
room's
work.
closing
You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Oh. Wow. My head is like spinning right now. I don't even know. Whoa, is this like the New York train station? Central Station? Whoa.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Where do we go?
Solution.
Wow.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
We underneath something?
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
I really do like all the
What
environments,
now?
though. They're really interesting.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
It's very true, Tori. Dave committed the biographical fallacy, making assumptions about Coda based on his art. It's a big trap people fall into all the time. Yeah. Very true. Whoa. Oh. It's like an elevator. Oh, we're back at this station. Oh, it's the beam again. Just like from the beginning. I have so many takeaways from this whole thing, honestly. I wonder if this is the same thing where we're gonna float upwards? Or will we be zapped? Oh, we're floating up? No. What the what? What? That is so crazy. What if that's like the entire game? All of his games combined. Oh man. What? What the what? Wow. I'm so mind blown by this entire concept. That is. Yeah, no, okay, so he's not real. I didn't think he was real. I mean, at the beginning, I definitely thought he was real, but then as the game got on, I was like, oh no, maybe he isn't real. Oh my gosh, what are y'all's takeaways from this? I'm just so mind blown. I kind of think, gosh, there were so many things that I really connected with as lessons. You know, I loved the house one. I think that was probably one of my favorite ones. But so many of it is so true about internal conflict and how life itself is a maze that we're constantly having to make decisions and go different routes, and you know, there are truly ups and downs in life. But wow, Coda is a way of talking about his own depression. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the internal conflicts and just the self-doubt and talking to yourself about like that was another thing too that I really appreciated. What was the one? It was like the maze with all the people's comments. That one was so good too. I connected with that one a lot too. Just constantly telling yourself that you're not good for this, or you know, your work's whatever. Yeah, wow. That was really good. That was super good. I love when a game can do that. When it can really pull out some really deep emotions and bring